Hello, my Math Bee friends. So we have another week of math, and this week we are talking about word problems with parentheses. So first things first, you have to print your lesson notes, and I have mine pulled up over here. So make sure you have those ready to go. And then wake up with some mental math. So it's important to start every day with some mental math. It helps you learn how to add and subtract small amounts like super quickly, and it wakes up your brain. So pause this video, take a minute to go through these practicing. We're adding money just like we've been doing. So just practice that real quick, and then just pause me, practice that, and I'll be on the next page when you're done. All right, so you should have done your mental math. Now we are on page 3, more than one operation. Solve these problems with more than one operation. Here are some problems to solve in your lesson notes. Show your work. Can you come up with more than one answer? Why do you think you can come up with more than one answer? Write your reason in your lesson notes. So these problems are in our lesson notes. Let's go ahead and take a look. Okay, so this is the same thing I just read, so I'm not going to repeat myself. So I want you to take a moment and solve these 5 problems and see how many different ways you can solve it, and then explain your reasoning. So pause this, and then whenever you've done all 5 of these problems and explained your reasoning, you can unpause me and we'll talk about it. All right, I had to pause for a super long time because the dogs outside and my dog were going back and forth. So I hope that they're done, and I apologize if they start barking again. So you should have tried to solve the problems as many ways as you could. So I only did 2 ways for each problem, and yours might look like mine or they might look very different, and that's okay. That's the whole point of us doing this. So for 13 minus 1 plus 8, I solved it in the top corner here and then right below. So the very top left, 13 minus 1 plus 8 equals blank. I subtracted 7 from 13 to get 6, and then I added 8, which 6 plus 8 equals 14. Then I also, on the bottom over here, I added 7 and 8 to get 15, and I had 13 minus 15, and I got -2. We haven't even talked about negative numbers yet. So what the heck? So another one that I did, 2 times 4 minus 3, I multiplied 2 times 4 to get 8. Then I subtracted 3. So 8 minus 3 equals 5. Then another way I tried it was 4 minus 3 equals 1. 2 times 1 equals 2. So 5 and 2 are nowhere near each other. Then we have 6 plus 2 minus 3. On the left here, I added 6 plus 2 to get 8. Then I had 8 minus 3 equals 5. Then I had over here, I tried 2 minus 3, and that gave me a negative number. So then I had 6 plus minus 1. I don't even know how to solve that. So then 7 minus 4 minus 1, I have on the right top over here, 7 minus 4 equals 3 minus 1 equals 2. Or I have 7 minus 4 minus 1, 4 minus 1 equals 3, 7 minus 3 equals 4. Then on the bottom, I have 8 minus 6 times 1. I have 8 minus 6 equals 2 times 1 equals 2. And 8 minus 6 times 1, 6 times 1 equals 6, and 8 minus 6 equals 2. So those two equaled out together. So why do you think you can come up with more than one answer? Well, it's because there are different ways to solve these problems. So that's why we get these random answers. And no matter which way you solved it, it's okay because we don't know what we're doing yet. This is just a brainstorming to see what works and what doesn't. So my way for the third problem, 6 plus 2 minus 3, there's no way that one works because I don't even know how to solve that. So maybe my other way was correct. But what about my other ones that I didn't have a problem with, like 8 minus 6 times 1? I got the same answer for both, so does that mean I can do it either way and get the same answer all the time? Well, we're going to find out. All right, so I would like you to return to the lesson notes to page 4. Did you have problems finding one answer when solving problems with more than one operation? Yes. Learn what parentheses are and how they can make solving problems less difficult by watching the video. So take a moment, watch the video, then answer the question, why did the parentheses make it easier to solve the number sentence? Check your answer. Then unpause because we will go back to those questions in our lesson notes to solve them with the parentheses. So review, watch the video, do the self-check, unpause me. All right, so you should have watched the video and done the self-check question. And now we are going to go to page 2 of our notes. So these are the same questions that we just answered, but parentheses were added. So we are going to use the please excuse my dear Aunt Sally technique. So what is please excuse my dear Aunt Sally? Because Miss Tori, it said in the video about a two-step technique, not about please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Whose Aunt Sally are we even talking about? Well, this is something that will come in handy now and in the future. So this is something that I learned in elementary school. So please excuse my dear Aunt Sally represents please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. So right now we are only doing a two-step technique and we're learning about the P, the parentheses. So this tells us what order to solve problems in. So for today, we are only going to worry about the please parentheses part of please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. This tells us that we have to start with the parentheses. So for example A, 13 minus 7 is in parentheses, then plus 8. So according to please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, we have to start with the P, the please, the parentheses. So 13 minus 7 is 6. Then we can drop down plus 8, and then we solve that, which is 14. And then we'll get into these later, but just keep this in mind. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. And always remember to start with the parentheses first. All right, pause me to solve B, C, D, E, and then come back to check. All right, so you should have solved these problems on your own, and I put the answers up here. So now let's take a moment to, I will go through the problems and you check your step by step to see if it matches up. And if it doesn't, then you can correct as we go. So for step B, we have 2 times parenthesis, 4 minus 3 parenthesis. So we always start with please, and the please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. That P is parentheses, so we start with the parentheses. 4 minus 3, I gotta annotate. 4 minus 3 is 1. Drop down the 2 times, so 2 times 1 is 2. Okay, parentheses first. 6 plus 2 is in parentheses, then minus 3. So 6 plus 2 is 8. Drop down minus 3. The answer is 5. Start with parentheses. 7 minus 4 is 3 minus 1. Uh-oh, what did I do? The answer is 2, Miss Tori. My eraser going away. There we go. See, even I make mistakes. It's okay. Do you know what I did? I did. That's a little messy. Let's try this again. Gotta be able to see what I did to know what I did, huh? So I forgot about the parentheses, and I just went straight for the ones on the end. I did 4 minus 1 equals 3, and I dropped down the 7 minus 1 to get 4. But that's not the way to do it, because we got to start with the parentheses. So it's okay to make mistakes. Just remember, start with the parentheses first. All right, last one. Parentheses first. 8 minus 6 is 2. Times 2 is 4. Alrighty, let me clear. So we go back to the lesson. Move on to page 5. We're going to click on the problem to reveal the answer. So we're going to check the work here. So problem 1 has parentheses 3 plus 4 minus 3 equals 4, or 3 plus 4 minus 3 equals 4. So you are to solve the problem to say which version is correct. So let's do the first one together. Let's do purple. So I'm going to draw a line here so you can see where I'm going. So start with the parentheses. 3 plus 4 is 7 minus 3 equals 4. Or 3 plus what's in the parentheses is 1 equals 4. So, they both equal 4. So the people who wrote this curriculum made an uh-oh. So even people who write the textbooks have mistakes sometimes, because both of these are correct and one's supposed to be incorrect. So we are going to try the next one together, because I went through this time and checked to make sure that they are all correct besides this one, and they are. So let's do one more so we can see that difference. So let's do this again. 6 minus parenthesis 2 divided by 2 parenthesis equals 5, or parenthesis 6 minus 2 parenthesis divided by 2 equals 5. So let's think. Start with the parentheses first. 2 divided by 2 is 1. So is 6 minus 1 5? Yes, it is. Now 6 minus 2 is 4. Is 4 divided by 2 5? No, it is not, because it is 2. Let me unannotate here. So the top one is correct, so it is in bold. So go ahead and do the rest by yourself, and then you will have IXL practice the next couple of days. If you have any questions, just let me know.